She ruled the most powerful kingdom in the ancient world at 18 years old. She spoke 9 languages. She negotiated with the most feared generals in Rome. She built alliances that no man in her position would have dared attempt. And when everything fell apart, when her armies were defeated, her empire dismantled, her children taken, she chose her own end on her own terms. How does a woman in 69 BC become one of the most powerful and enduring figures in all of human history? Was it simply genius? Political cunning? Beauty, as the myths would have us believe? Or was she living something deeper, something encoded in her very energetic blueprint? Today, we're exploring the life of Cleopatra VII through the lens of human design. The system that maps your unique energetic architecture, your decision-making authority, and the life themes you're here to embody. She never knew this system existed, but her life, it demonstrates its principles with breathtaking clarity. Before we dive in, a quick note on methodology. Cleopatra VII was born in early 69 BC in Alexandria, Egypt. Most scholars agree on the year, and several sources point to January as the likely month, but no exact date or birth time survives from antiquity. In human design, the birth time matters enormously. Even a few minutes can shift key elements of a chart. So what we're working with today is an interpretive framework using January 69 BC as our anchor, with Alexandria as the birthplace, and a speculative midday birth time. Some elements of this chart are more certain than others, and we'll flag that as we go. With that transparency in place, let's talk about what we can know. Based on the available planetary positions for early January 69th BC, Cleopatra appears to carry the energy signature of a manifestor, one of the rarest human design types, making up only about 8% of the population. Manifestors are the initiators of the human design world. They are here to act first, to begin things, to set things in motion, to impact others through their sheer will and presence. Their strategy? Inform before acting, not to ask permission, but to notify, so that the resistance of others doesn't become a wall. Their signature feeling, the emotional compass that confirms they're in alignment, is peace. And their not self theme, the signal that they've moved out of alignment, anger. Sound familiar for a woman who spent her life fighting for a throne that was always hers by right? Based on our working chart, Cleopatra may carry a 3-5 profile, the martyr heretic. Now, we'll note this is speculative without an exact birth time. But if it holds, it is one of the most revealing profile combinations in all of human design. The line 3 energy learns by trial and error. It bumps into walls, breaks things, starts over. The line 3, life isn't always pretty, but it builds wisdom from the wreckage. The line 5 energy carries what's called a projected field, meaning other people project their expectations and hopes onto you. The 5 is seen as a savior, a solution bringer, a practical fixer, whether or not they asked for it. Together, the 3-5 is someone who lives an experimental life full of reinvention and is simultaneously tasked with bearing the weight of everyone's projections. Does that sound like the woman Rome, Alexandria, and history itself have never stopped projecting onto? Cleopatra was born into a dynasty in decay. Her father, Ptolemy XII, nicknamed the Flute Player, was deeply unpopular, financially dependent on Rome, and politically unstable. He was a man who survived by appeasing powerful men rather than challenging them. For a child with manifestor energy, this environment would have been quietly suffocating. Manifestors are not built to wait for permission. They are not built to appease. Their energy field, closed and dense by design, naturally unsettles those around them. People feel the manifestor's power before they can name it, and the world's response to that power usually control it, contain it, make it smaller. Ptolemy XII's court would have done exactly that to young Cleopatra, pressing her into the mold of royal daughter, of future consort, of political pawn. But here's where it gets fascinating. While her siblings received the standard royal education, Cleopatra went further. She mastered 9 languages: Egyptian, Greek, Latin, Aramaic, Hebrew, Ethiopian, Parthian, and more. She studied at the Museum, the intellectual center connected to the Library of Alexandria. She absorbed philosophy, medicine, oratory, economics, and military strategy. In human design, open centers, those white, undefined spaces on the body graph, are places of amplification and wisdom. They take in the energies of others and over time develop the deepest understanding of those qualities precisely because they are not fixed. A potential open head and ajna center in Cleopatra's chart would suggest a mind that was exquisitely absorptive, capable of processing the thinking patterns of everyone around her, sampling different mental frameworks and synthesizing them into something uniquely her own. She didn't just learn languages, she learned how people thought through their language. For a manifestor queen, that was not just academic. That was tactical sovereignty. Her childhood also unfolded in the shadow of Rome, the empire that had effectively made Egypt its financial client state. Her father owed Rome enormous debts. He was ultimately exiled to Rome for years, leaving his children behind, the throne contested. Cleopatra's not-self theme of anger likely had its roots here, in watching power compromised, in watching the kingdom she loved diminished by forces her father was too afraid to resist. She would not make the same choice. In 51 BC, Ptolemy XII died. Cleopatra was 18 years old. She ascended the throne of Egypt. Now, in human design, the manifestor's strategy of informing is everything. When a manifestor acts without informing, without notifying the people in their field about what they're about to do, it creates resistance, confusion, opposition, and ultimately, the very conflict the manifestor most wants to avoid. Cleopatra's early reign is a masterclass in what happens when this strategy is honored and when it isn't. She immediately assumed joint rule with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, as Ptolemaic tradition demanded. On the surface, she was informing the power structures. I will share this throne. But her brother's court advisors had no intention of sharing power with a female ruler of manifestor magnitude. Within a few years, they pushed her out entirely. She was exiled to Syria. For most, exile is the end. For a manifestor, 3-5, it's data. The line 3 energy doesn't break under trial. It learns, it recalibrates, it asks, what went wrong and how do I rebuild this correctly? Cleopatra spent her exile doing exactly that. She assembled her own army. She prepared to return. Then came the informing moment that changed everything. In 48 BC, Julius Caesar, the most powerful man in the Roman world, arrived in Alexandria, pursuing his rival, Pompey. Cleopatra had herself smuggled into the royal palace, rolled in a carpet or linen bundle, delivered directly to Caesar's private quarters. Think about what that move embodies from a human design perspective. She didn't petition for an audience. She didn't send a delegate. She didn't wait to be invited. She initiated. She informed by her very presence. She made an impact so undeniable that Caesar, a man who had conquered Gaul, who had crossed the Rubicon, who had seen everything, was immediately, irreversibly drawn in. This is manifestor energy at its most potent, not loud, not aggressive, simply impossible to ignore. Caesar restored her to the throne. He became her ally, then her companion, then the father of her son, Caesarion. Now here's where human design timing enters the picture. Saturn returns, the astrological and energetic rite of passage that occurs around ages 28 to 30. When Saturn completes its first orbit and returns to its birth position, marks a moment of reckoning. The structures you built in your youth are tested. What was built on false foundations falls. What was built on truth solidifies. At approximately 28 to 30 years old, right in the window of her first Saturn return, Cleopatra's world shifted tectonically. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC. Cleopatra was approximately 25. By her late 20s, she was navigating the political fallout of Rome's civil war, managing her kingdom alone, and positioning Caesarion as her co-ruler. Her Saturn return asked, "Who are you when your most powerful protector is gone? What have you actually built that's yours?" A manifestor in alignment answers that question with action. In 41 BC, she sailed to Tarsus to meet Mark Antony. She arrived in a gilded barge, dressed as the goddess Isis, surrounded by attendants costumed as sea nymphs and graces. The riverbanks were lined with thousands of people. Antony, who was waiting for her, ended up being the one who waited. This is the 3-5 profile's line 5 energy in full expression. The line 5 is called the heretic because they offer solutions to the problems of their age, but they must be careful about how they present. The 5 carries a projected field. People see in them what they need to see. Cleopatra understood this instinctively. She became the projection. She literally dressed as a goddess. She didn't just inform Antony of her intentions, she transformed reality itself so that he would have no choice but to respond. The partnership with Antony became the most audacious political gambit of the ancient world, an attempt to build an independent Eastern empire that could rival Rome itself. Here's where we see the shadow of manifestor energy emerge. Manifestors carry enormous initiating power, but when they act from anger, from the accumulated frustration of years of being contained, resisted, underestimated, their decisions can outrun their wisdom. The alliance with Antony was brilliant, but it also put the full weight of Rome's most fearsome political machine, Octavian, Caesar's heir, squarely against her. Around age 38, approaching what human design practitioners recognize as the Uranus opposition, the midlife awakening that occurs around age 40 to 42, Cleopatra faced the culminating test of her design. The Uranus opposition is a time when the soul demands authenticity above all else. The masks crack. The strategies that worked in the first half of life begin to feel hollow. Life asks, are you living your truth or the truth others needed from you? In 31 BC, at the Battle of Actium, Cleopatra and Antony's combined fleet was defeated by Octavian. What followed is still debated by historians. Some say her fleet retreated prematurely, some say it was strategic, some say it was instinct, the splenic voice of a manifestor reading danger that others couldn't yet see. What we know is that she returned to Egypt. Antony followed, and within a year, both were dead. But here's what the mainstream narrative misses. Cleopatra did not die in despair. She died in refusal. When Octavian, about to become the first Emperor Augustus of Rome, arrived to take her as a trophy for his triumph, she chose her own death, calmly, deliberately. Some accounts say she arranged herself in full royal regalia first. A manifestor's deepest sovereignty is this: no one initiates for them, not even death. Over 2,000 years after her death, Cleopatra VII remains one of the most recognized human beings who ever lived. That is not an accident. In human design, a manifestor's true purpose is not just to do, it's to impact. The manifestor's closed aura moves through the world, leaves a mark, changes the field. Long after they're gone, the ripple continues. Cleopatra impacted Caesar and changed the politics of Rome. She impacted Antony and rewrote the map of the Eastern world. She impacted Egypt so deeply that her name was carved into temple walls long after her death. She impacted Shakespeare, who gave her some of the most enduring words in the English language. She has impacted every writer, filmmaker, and historian who has tried and largely failed to fully contain her. She embodied the 3-5 profile's deepest gift, the ability to turn every breakdown into a foundation of wisdom and to offer that wisdom to others as a practical solution to the problems of their age. Her age's problem was simple. How does a small kingdom survive in a world dominated by empire? Her answer: forge alliances, embody divinity, initiate from inner authority, never ask permission, worked for over 2 decades, which is longer than most modern geopolitical strategies. She didn't know human design. She had no body graph on her wall, no chart reading, no podcast to listen to on her way to the museum, but she lived her design. She initiated, she informed, she recovered from trial and error. She bore the projections of her age with the full presence of a line 5 who knew exactly what role she was playing. She achieved quantum sovereignty, the state in which your inner blueprint and your outer life become one coherent, unmistakable expression. So, what can we take from Cleopatra's journey? If she was a manifestor, the lesson is clear. The people who change history don't wait for permission. They inform, they initiate, they feel the peace of alignment, and they act. If she carried a 3-5 profile, the lesson is this: your failures are your curriculum. Every exile, every defeat, everything that didn't work is the raw material of wisdom. The world will project its hopes onto you. Your job is not to live up to their projection. It's to offer your genuine self as the solution. And her open centers, that extraordinary mind that could absorb 9 languages, think in 9 frameworks, see 9 perspectives, that wasn't weakness. That was wisdom in formation. The undefined spaces in your chart aren't where you're broken. They're where you become the most deeply understanding version of yourself. Cleopatra didn't have human design, but her life powerfully illustrates what becomes possible when someone operates from their authentic, energetic truth, even unconsciously. Now imagine what becomes possible when you do it consciously. What if you could understand why you make decisions the way you do and trust them completely? What if you could stop apologizing for the way you're wired and start leveraging it? Your design is already encoded within you. It's been there since the moment of your birth. If Cleopatra's story has sparked something in you today, a recognition, a resonance, a wondering, then your next step is to discover your own blueprint. Take our free clarity quiz. In just a few minutes, you'll uncover the first steps toward living your own quantum sovereignty. The link is in the description. And if this deep dive landed for you, if Cleopatra's story revealed something new, drop a comment below. Tell us what part of her design resonated most with yours. Like, subscribe, and stay sovereign. We'll see you in the next one.